So if you're a woman, you're probably used to seeing blood. Basically, blood once a month. What you're not used to seeing is somebody else's blood on the wall of a museum. And that's exactly what I saw when I visited the museum on the island of Cozumel in Mexico. I mean, like bloody menstrual pad, bloody condom, bloody underwear. And it's been a few months, and I've been thinking that it would be interesting to interview the photographer who took pictures of her own menstrual blood and decided to make a photo exhibit of it. And so I finally got to talk to her about it. I saw your exhibition, and I was just really surprised because I've never seen anything like that before. I basically wanted to ask you about the exhibition and how you decided to do something like that.
I had a hormone problem, and that caused the loss of the period for a few months. When I lost it, I got in a very bad depression. It was like such a big thing for me, and something that it was there like every month since I was 11 years old, and one day it was just gone. And not only that, but all the emotions I was going through, how hopeless I felt, how lonely I felt, how sad, how melancholic, but at the same time, like how alive I felt just by getting back my period. And when I got it back, like 3 months later, that's when the project started, actually. This was a project I developed during my master's degree. I was taking pictures of my blood all the time since that moment, since I got my period back.
So were you trying to get pregnant at the time or anything like that?
Just before this event happened, that it was also when I started the project, I was considering to become a mom for the first time in my life. That was when I was 26, 27.
And then your period just disappeared. So you...
Right. Yeah. You have no idea. Like I remember the day it came back. I threw a party that day. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, it was a celebration. Totally. Yeah. It meant a lot to me.
So many women hate their periods because, it's painful, but you threw a celebration when it came back. Why?
So I get these memories of the things I used to post when I was a teenager. And I get very shocked because I used to refer to my period in the most awful and horrible way you can imagine. And I truly believe that's one of the reasons I got sick, several years later. That's my own conclusion. I remember always complaining about the pain and everything. And now when it came back, it meant a totally different thing for me. Like, as you mentioned, it has to do with my identity, with the meaning of being a woman. Of course, with the deep desire of becoming a mom.
When you were doing your master's, were you worried how people would react to that? Like how your professors would react?
I remember when I was starting the master's, I had a ton of pictures by that time. And I remember showing it to the director of the master's, and he was pretty shocked. And I wouldn't say
it's a man, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
A man, and I wouldn't say it was in a good way.
Uh-huh.
But that wasn't an obstacle to me. I knew it was maybe not something comfortable to see, but at the same time, it was like a need, for me to put that out there and to talk about it. If I was on my period, I would do free bleeding. I did free bleeding for maybe 1 year or more.
Wait, so that means what?
Oh, that means I wasn't using any pad, anything.
So your clothes would just get blood on them?
Yeah,
And then you would wash it?
Yeah.
So you were just going out like everywhere like this?
Everywhere. Almost like a political statement, like you going out there, going to a cafe on your period, doing free bleeding, putting your blood on the couch of the cafe. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay, so this is even more like what can I say? Brave than just taking pictures. That takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, it was actually in art. We call that performance. And I remember one of the most iconic pictures of the project is this picture in a public restroom. I put my underwear with the blood, and I took the picture as an evidence of that performance. I mean, it was a performance that lasted like maybe 1 minute or two, but it was something. And for me, it meant a lot to be able to do that.
And then how did you get the museum to have the exhibition? Was it easy?
I remember going and talking directly to the director of the museum, who's a woman.
Uh-huh.
And I remember showing her a quick dossier I have, and she immediately said yes because she thought it was a very powerful topic.
What I was thinking when I saw it was that, like, I get my period every month, but I never see what another woman's period looks like. So, and
Was it interesting to you?
it was,
Like,
yeah, it was kind of interesting because I'm thinking, oh, is my period normal? So, even, on TV when they have the advertisements for the menstrual pads, they never use real blood.
not even red, but blue.
I think I had this question in mind for some time, but I didn't ask it. But I'm going to. Like, there is a picture of a bloody condom in the exhibition.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, how did your boyfriend or husband feel about your period and about you photographing?
Well, first of all, not my boyfriend, not my husband. It was just a one night stand.
Okay.
And it was, yeah, and it was so fun, and it was so cool, and it was so, I don't know what word to use, because this guy way younger than me. I'm almost 30.
Mm-hmm.
He like maybe 23, I think he was by that moment. And like I remember, like I wasn't expecting it to happen because I was on my period, blah blah blah. Maybe we I now that I'm talking about it, I think we might have had a conversation before about me being on my period, and I think he was okay with the idea of having sex during my period. But at the same time, I wasn't expecting it to happen like that night. So I remember like just at the end, asking him, because it was pretty shocking to me too, like to see the condom and to see all the blood.
Uh-huh.
And I remember asking him like, so are you okay if I take a picture of this? And he went and said like, oh, go ahead, like you do whatever you want and you do whatever you need with it. I think actually he felt like a little flattered, you know what I mean? Like
Okay.
that picture was very controversial in so many ways. Not only on the moral part, all the imagery gave this feeling of like me on my own going through all of this. But putting this picture of the condom, that gives you more information that there was someone else involved. At the end, actually, I I decided not to put up another picture of one of the person I was dating by that moment, with some semen on his body.
Okay.
That, I mean, it was not specifically, like, it was not completely related to the main topic. So people would say to me, Okay, that goes in another project.
And so the project about the semen, is that something you're going to do?
I started it, and like it's not only about the semen. It has to do with intimacy too.
Mhm.
It has to do with relationships. It has to do with affection. It has to do with fertility. It has to do, I think, yeah, it has to do with a lot of main topics.
And so you have a man who is willing to be photographed.
It was my boyfriend. Well, that relationship just ended like very recently. That's also the reason it's like in a pause right now. It's something that like I feel attracted to in terms of photography. You know, like art has to do with making people feel uncomfortable about things that shouldn't, meaning like such a natural process as it is period, you know, as it is menstruation.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a great interview. I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.